It's Rana, and I have another layout for Woodgrain in Winter, a series that Janet Fritz from Galaxy Girl Creations is doing, and I'm playing along with her. This will be all month, and there is a playlist in the description box that will show everyone who's playing along. And this layout that I'm working on today is a companion page to the one that I had on my channel on Wednesday. So after you finish with this one, if you haven't seen that other one, you might want to go back and check that one as well. I am going to do 3 more pictures from the Christmas tree farm photo shoot that my youngest daughter did with her family for her Christmas cards. So I am showing you all the different things that I'm using, which is also same things that I used last time. That's the layout that I did for the first page. My background paper, the wood grain there, is from Memory Place. And the 3 collections that I'm using are all from 49&Market. The first one is Holiday Wishes. The next one is Evergreen Season, and I also have pulled out Christmas Spectacular. I don't know that I actually used anything from that one, but I do have it pulled out with these other 2 so that I can use it if I decide I need to. So the first thing I'm going to do is use some of the green paper that I had left after I just tore the little bits that I did on the first layout. And then I'm also using this same washi tape, and you can see me struggling just a little bit because this washi tape is a couple years old now, and I haven't used very much of it. It is a little bit finicky when you're pulling it off the roll, so it doesn't matter to me, honestly, because I rip my washi always. So I like the torn edge look. I don't want it to be straight. I don't want to have, rough edges. I like everything to be distressed and torn and all the things. So I just I took the washi, rolled out a little over 12 inches, and then I tore it in half, and I used half on one side and half on the other side of this green paper. And I'll just adhere the green paper right over top of it. The green paper looks like it's torn kind of funky, and you may be wondering why I'm not fixing that, but I know that the photos are going to go right over top of it anyway, so I'm just not worried about it. So that is how that's going to look, just nice behind it. And I'm also, normally when you see me, if you have been around my channel at all, I usually will distress the edges anytime I'm doing a torn edge like this. So I'll tear it and then I'll rough it up with my fingers, and I'm not doing that on this one, and I'm not doing it on purpose because I'm going to be using some rub-ons that I know will go over top of them. So it's going to go over, 3 layers. It's going to go over the torn paper, the rub-on or the washi tape, and then also the background paper. So that's why I'm leaving it flat and smooth the way it is right now. Okay, so now I'm going through and trying to choose a bunch of the rub-ons that I want to use. And if you saw the first layout, I had used all of these that I'm using again. So I'm just cutting out more, choosing which ones I want. I'm going to do this one a little bit different because the last layout had that pop of red with the blanket on the couch. So I used red on that one. And this one I'm going to kind of shy away from the red, and I'll be using some white and kind of a bluish tinge poinsettias. So that will be a little bit different, and other florals, but I think this rub-on has something different on it. There are a few little pops of red, but I just didn't make it a priority to have a lot of red. So here I'm deciding which of the florals I want to use. I keep going back and forth. And I'm going to settle on just a couple of the florals, and then I will pull out the laser cut die cuts and decide on some of those as well. I want this layout to be similar, but not the same. So I'm using, some different items. I'm using, a big amount of the green paper. I'm using different kinds of florals. So I just very seldom do a 2-page spread that's continuous across, both pages, but I do like to have some of the same elements. So when the pictures go together and match, or it's from the same event or whatever, there's, it's a complementary page. It's not a 2-page spread, if that makes sense. So I did fiddle around with my placement. I really didn't know exactly what I wanted to do other than that band, down the center, and then tucking rub-ons in under. I knew I wanted to do that, but then the placement of everything is, just have to kind of fuss around a little bit, try everything in different places until I can decide what I like. I do love these photos so much. These will be in Adeline's book, and so I put the individual shot of her in there and then a couple of the family ones. And they kind of had trouble with the kids wanting to smile and everything, so they did some silly ones. And sometimes I think those are just the best. I think they're really, really sweet. So they worked. And those are the ones that are on her Christmas cards. And honestly, little Addie is always looks sweet whether she's smiling or not, so it's all good. So I keep trying, and with the placement the way I just had it, I felt like it was just trying to fill up all the space, and I know I don't want to do that. So we're gonna fuss around here. And then I went off screen and then figured out what I wanted to do. Sometimes I just have to walk away and then come back. And when I came back, it ended up more of a vertical or a diagonal design. And if I can't decide or I don't already know what I want to do, it ends up as a diagonal design. I don't know why. That's just like my go-to, I guess. And I don't set out to do it necessarily, but when I'm stuck, it just tends to happen unplanned. But I like how it ended up. It's not a totally diagonal design, but all of the dimensional elements start top left to the bottom right, and then the flat elements, the rub-ons, the washi, those kind of things are in the 2 other corners. So they definitely look more like background, where the dimensional embellishments draw your eye through the layout. So definitely leaning towards diagonal, but that's okay. I obviously love a good diagonal, so that is what we'll have for this one. So the rub-ons did work really good right over top of that washi tape. Didn't have any issues with it. And then where I had a couple of spots that were going to be hidden, so I just put those in a different spot. Wasted. And you can see here where I'm doing the rub-ons right over top of all 3 layers. I will note in my splatters from the last layout and also the splatters for this layout that I used the Distress Mica stain. I used the color Juniper, or I'm not sure if it's just Juniper, but Juniper is in the name. And where it rested or, ended up on the washi tape, it did not dry. So if you use that, just a little tip, you might want to take a little paper towel or something and dab it up so that you don't smear it. I touched mine because I thought it looked like it was still damp, and it definitely was. So I just got mine on my finger, but then I went through and looked at the other places where the splatters had landed on the washi because they definitely did not dry. So keep that in mind if you use that mica stain. I love the mica stain. It's absolutely beautiful. I've got a couple of colors. I think I've ordered more also, but I've got a couple of colors and I'm really liking those. I'm also super obsessed with the picket fence paper splatter. I used that in gold on both of the layouts, and that's what you see me dropping from the bottle. Has a little dropper, and I love how they look. They just make the most perfect little circles of gold, and they're shimmery and gorgeous, and I use it for splatters as well. So hopefully you haven't fast forwarded and think I'm got my whole video upside down. I don't. I just am working on the top part, and it's easier than working over the whole layout when I'm needing to be close enough to put some pressure with the rub-on. So I will be flipping it back around so you can see the layout properly in just a minute. So I get these rub-ons rubbed on. I've been pretty liberal with rub-ons on my last several layouts, and I really like them. That rub-on that I was just applying actually went over one of the laser cuts that I had just sitting there. I didn't have it glued on yet. So here I'm very, very carefully, so I don't ruin the rub-on, tacking that down with some dimensional foam tape because I knew I wanted the berries to be popped up. And I've got some more rub-ons, and then under this side, and then those white, and there's a white and a bluish color in the top, and then in the bottom I have a white and blue rub-on and a white poinsettia. So I have 3 florals in the top cluster and 3 florals in the bottom cluster. And there we're right side up again. I'm not going to, oh, I forgot, yeah. So this is my stamping. I'm super proud of myself for doing some second generation stamping and just background stamping. The stamp is also from the Sizzix that was designed by Katie from 49&Market. She designed these, each one of these collections for 49&Market, and also the stamp that they collaborated with Sizzix. So I used the tree the last time, and this time I am using the sentiment that says Farm Fresh Christmas Trees. And I just wanted it to be a background element. I didn't want any of them to be perfect or whatever. That's why I'm doing second generation and making sure that it's kind of off the edges and under stuff and everything, just for one more background layer. I'm using the Scorched Timber Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to put it in several places all the way down. Some second generation, some first generation. And some over the rub-on, some over the washi, just all the way through, so it just looks like it was part of the background. And I have that finished up, and I really like it. I'm normally just don't do a lot of stamping on on my layouts. It just makes me nervous. I don't know why. I have lots of stamps. I use them in cards, but I don't know. I just don't use them on my layouts nearly as often as I should. But when I bought this set, I thought I am for sure going to use it on some layouts. So since I have these collections that match and the feel is perfect, I am making myself use it. So there's also dies with that set. It just came all together. I didn't die cut out the tree or this sentiment because both of them I wanted just as backgrounds, but I will use those dies in the future because there's a lot of neat images. If I didn't have these rub-ons, I probably would have stamped some of the pine boughs as well because they're gorgeous also. But the rub-ons were the ticket for this time, and the next layout I won't have any left, so I'll have to stamp, I guess. So you see me applying the foam tape. I do this kind of on the ends of some of the little branches and leaves, and then I leave it flat to the page in other areas. I'm not going to show all of this. I'm just going to cut away here in just a minute and all of them will be glued on. We don't want the video to end up too long. So I'm liking how that looks. I went ahead and adhered the photos as well. And now I just had a few of these little pine cones and I decided I needed something brown in that one section. So I'm going to add one. The rest of them I'll just save for a different layout or card or whatever. And then I'll add my finishing touches on here. I have a sentiment phrase here that says Merry Christmas that I'm going to add in. It is chipboard. So that's going to go right down there at the bottom. Oh, and I decided I wanted that last poinsettia. I hadn't rubbed it on yet. I forgot that I had still to do that as well. Let me know in the comments if you like to scrapbook your photo shoot. You know, if you do a photo shoot for Christmas cards or family photos that you use for Christmas cards, do you also scrapbook those as well, or do you scrapbook the card? I'd love to know. My husband and I don't usually do photo cards. I make them. I make my cards, and I don't do pictures. We don't take pictures of you know, the whole family every year for Christmas, so it's different when you don't have little kids, you know. We look the same. So I'm adding those liquid gold splatters. That is from Picket Fence, and that is my current fave for gold. I didn't water them down or anything. I just splattered them right on using that fan brush. And then I'm going to add just 3 big splotches in 2 places, both of the flat places. And that is pretty much it. I'll have my close-ups here. And oh, and I have the other splatters of the mica stain as well to do. Have to get that shook up real good. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today. I will be back again very soon with another layout. Check out the description box with everyone else who's playing along with the Woodgrain in Winter. And if you like what you've seen here, I would love it if you'd subscribe. I appreciate everyone taking the time, and leave any comments or questions that you might have, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.